Hi, who the kids? Okay, but let me look cute. Don't go change.
Yeah, don't go change the dance.
Do Donald, sing 1 million.
Oh.
He sang it for me when I was.
You have to sing it with me.
Your love. How cute this is. How cute this is. Oh, why he said love you, baby, love you, baby. You're whack.
How you doing?
Hi, I dance for Aaliyah.
Can you say hi? You dance for Aaliyah? What's your
I
name?
dance for her.
What's your name?
My name is
You sorta,
Razia.
you sorta look.
Razia.
Okay, Razia Shaniqua.
Yo, you sorta look like Aaliyah though. I don't know.
I know everybody say that because, you know, we family.
Can you show some of your skills? Some of your dance skills?
All the way from Baltimore, Maryland. Ladies, get ready to get your hands, sit your hands back.
Hey, what is going on with y'all, man? It is Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, so y'all already know what's going on. Alright, y'all. This time we're here to talk about Aaliyah as promised. Remember, we did the video with Static Major, and a lot of y'all asked me to do a video on Aaliyah as well. Now, I did do Aaliyah like early on, kind of when I first started doing YouTube videos. You know, it wasn't a proper video on how I would edit a video today. I more just sat down and talked about everything that I thought about Aaliyah. And since then, I think some new claims and some new evidence about her death actually came out, which to my surprise, 20 years after she died, you know, I think this started to surface like around 2021, because I had never seen it. And we're going to read over the article that I found that details it. I had never seen this information before. You know, a lot of people, you know, you spent a lot of time wondering if Aaliyah died the way that they say she died, or, you know, who was actually behind her death, her murder. Because it for surely was not just an accident. We're going to use this video to go down the rabbit hole of how we believe Aaliyah met her demise and who may be the closest to being responsible. Because regardless of what we find, regardless of what we think, I don't think we will ever know, you know, truthfully, who was responsible or the party that was responsible, because it could have been something that was done by multiple people and they all were in agreement that she may have been worth more dead than alive.
I think that we all, as artists, because we're highly sensitive people, and this machine around us, this so-called music industry, is such a demonic thing. It sacrifices people's lives and their essences at the drop of a dime.
I mean, how did you feel when you heard that Sony, I think it was back in the UK, had jacked the prices up of Whitney's album?
It reminds me
within an hour or so of her dying.
Yeah, that reminds me of the time I had a manager once that said to me, you know, you're worth more money dead than alive.
All right, y'all. So with that being said, before I go on and on, we're going to jump into a few clips about Aaliyah and the industry. Then I'm going to come back and talk to y'all. Check this out.
The plane crash that killed a rising star in the world of music and film. Reaction today after Aaliyah and 8 others were killed when their plane went down. Good evening. I'm Lauren Glassbergen for Sandra Bookman.
And I'm Tim Fleischer. The plane, just after taking off for Florida in perfect weather, suddenly plummeted to the ground. Investigators now saying one of the engines apparently failed. Along with 8 passengers, Aaliyah, a young Brooklyn native and a talented singer and actress. Jeff Rosten is live in Times Square with more on her life. Jeff.
And Aaliyah had a huge following not only here in New York City but nationwide. Only 22 years old, this pop sensation was a popular singer. She was an actress in some movies recently, even a Grammy nominee. Tonight, her family is in mourning. Fans asking, why her? Relatives in shock outside Aaliyah's home on the Upper West Side. The R&B star lived here at the Century, Central Park West and 63rd. She was on a small plane heading to Florida from the Bahamas, where she was shooting a music video.
Sweetest person you can know, very intelligent. She knew what she was about and she knew what she wanted to do with her life.
Aaliyah's life started here in New York City, born in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. But as a child, she moved to Detroit, where friends today remembered this young star.
Aaliyah was my best friend. She was a beautiful person on the inside and out. And I'm just shocked.
Aaliyah's hits include Back and Forth and At Your Best. She acted in the movie Romeo Must Die and was slated to appear in sequels to The Matrix. But her life, her dreams, were taken away. On board the doomed Cessna, Aaliyah and 8 others, including a representative for Virgin Records and a makeup artist. Investigators say one of the engines apparently failed. They crashed just short of a runway on Abaco Island. Members of her dance team arrived safely on a different plane.
Members of her dance team arrived safely on a different plane.
My crew, we put, the stylists, we gave everybody ribbons, and this, I don't even know what to say. I just know that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual murder, whether people know it or not, because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Whether people know it or not. And I could go deep, but a lot of people I would have to really bring proof, you know what I'm saying, for what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair. And it wasn't time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I believe it wasn't her time to go, because from what I know, it ain't supposed to go down like that. And just simple obedience, like, your gut always warns you. That your gut never lies to you. And something like luggage and clothes and jewelry and all this madness that we worship is called false idols. We need to really look at the bigger picture right now. And look at how Honey could be here right now.
Alright, y'all. Now did y'all see that? Now, I swear I find out something new every time I do these videos. Even if I'm circling back, doing kind of like an updated video, I still find out something new. Now, I had seen that clip that Mary did on 106 in Park, but I didn't know it scared her so much that she actually, I think she was on Oprah, because this is like, I guess this is like dialogue from when she got interviewed by Oprah, but I didn't know she actually got interviewed by Oprah and actually said some of this stuff. But considering it was back then in the early 2000s, it makes sense, because, they were actually talking and exposing stuff on live TV a lot more than they would today. But Mary said, absolutely. You know, just for some of y'all that probably didn't pay attention to that part that I just played, let me just talk about it real quick. She said, absolutely. One reason I turned my life around is that I realized millions of fans were following my example. I don't want to be responsible for killing us. She said, I want to be responsible for uplifting us. She said she gave up her drink and drug-fueled lifestyle after experiencing the shock of fellow R&B star Aaliyah's untimely death. The 34-year-old singer became paranoid about her own demise after hearing the Romeo Must Die beauty had been killed in a plane crash. She said, we wasn't close friends. It was just that when I saw her die, that's when I discovered the fact that I'm next. I don't know how or when, but I'm next. I don't know what kind of freak accident they're going to put me in or what kind of overdose of heroin they're going to sort out. But at the end of the day, I knew I was next. I just thought, I'm scared. Bro, that's huge. And someone like Mary J., who's one of the most successful R&B singers of all time, still to this day playing in Power, you know, with Lil Tariq. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all watch those shows. I watch it. You know, it's a pretty good show. But still, she still has a career. One of the legends of the R&B scene, R&B game, Miss Mary J. Blige herself saying this. So she already knows what the industry about. This was back in 2001, 2002. Read it again. She said, I don't know what kind of freak accident they're going to put me in, or what kind of overdose of heroin they're going to sort out. What do y'all think she's talking about, y'all? Who is the they? They are. Who is the they that she's talking about? I mean, she said it plain as day. She said, I don't know what kind of freak accident they're going to put me in. She telling y'all that it wasn't, this was organized. Aaliyah's death was planned. The plane went down in less than 1 minute, y'all. Less than 1 minute. We already know this is the industry.
I just want people to know that part. I'm sick and tired of the fact that her name will forever be attached to R. Kelly's name. Everything he did to her. Everything he did to that family. You know, I know a lot of people want to blame it all on Barry Hankerson and blame it on the family, but the truth is, the music industry is a very confusing place, and sometimes things happen without people knowing. There are people that are actively working to keep people in the dark, actively working to constantly change stories, change reality, change everything, and they can do it all with just a press release. So I don't want to say anything that would frame her family in a negative light. I don't, because I don't think I can honestly say I believe they had no idea until it was too late. And I can tell you right now, it's easy to do in the music industry.
All right, y'all. So for this portion of the video, we're going to take the time to sort of read the official narrative of how Aaliyah died, as we always do in these type of videos. Now it says R&B singer tragically died on August 21st, 2021, alongside 8 others after a chartered plane destined for Miami crashed less than 1 minute after takeoff in the Bahamas. She was only 22 years old. Now, side note real quick, Aaliyah died August 25th, 2001. We all know what happened about 2.5 weeks later in September of 2001. Not going to say it too much just for, you know, guideline purposes, but we know what happened early September 2001 that, you know, changed America, basically, or whatever you want to call it. Then we fast forward about 19 years. Kobe Bryant died January 26, 2020. Now that was also about 2.5 weeks before the start of you know what. So think about that. Aaliyah dies about 2.5 weeks before a major event that changed America. Kobe Bryant also died about 2.5 weeks before another major event that really changed the world as we know it. I want y'all to think about that for a second. Now, we know that is not a coincidence. Now, y'all know I have to watch my words when I say this kind of stuff. I've been through it all on YouTube, channel deleted, you know. a lot of suspension. So nowadays, I just stick within the guidelines. There's no need for me to say all that and risk, you know, videos being suspended. That's why I kind of hold my words sometimes, if y'all are wondering why. But anyways, back on the topic about Aaliyah. All right. So says the doomed plane was 700 pounds overweight and the pilot was not qualified to fly it. In an interview with German media just 1 month before the fatal wreck, Aaliyah shared a now eerie anecdote about a recurring dream that she'd been having at the time. The pop sensation, one of the most coveted performers of her era, told her interviewer that in a dream she was being followed by someone, which made her feel scared and anxious. But then why would she suddenly fly away from them and feel at peace? It is dark in my favorite dream, she began. Someone is following me. I don't know why. I'm scared. Then suddenly I lift off far away. How do I feel? As if I'm swimming in the air, free, weightless. Nobody can reach me. Nobody can touch me. It's a wonderful feeling. Think about that. In a dream, she said, someone is following me. I don't know why. I'm scared. Then suddenly I lift off far away as if she's in a plane. How do I feel? As if I am swimming in the air, free, weightless, as if she is dead. Nobody can reach me. Nobody can touch me. It's a wonderful feeling. Now, when she says nobody can touch me, it makes me think about Britney Spears and what she was saying when she cut her hair bald. Now, I'm still going to upload that video here so y'all can know the connection that I'm talking about on Aaliyah saying nobody can touch me, because Britney Spears basically said the same thing. She was tired of being touched. But y'all gonna see that when I drop the video about Shia LaBeouf and her really soon here on YouTube. Says that was one of the final interviews Aaliyah gave before her death. While the dream bears a number of symbolic elements, which I just thought of those two off of my head, fans of the singer have suggested that it was actually a dark subconscious premonition of the crash that ultimately claimed her life. Within 4 weeks, Aaliyah would be dead after suffering severe burns and a fatal blow to the head after she boarded the 402 twin-engine light aircraft that crashed seconds after the takeoff. Her body was found 20 feet away from the wreckage. She was still strapped into her seat and slumped over to the left. At a coroner's inquest hearing in November 2001, they called her chances of survival slim to none, pointing to the fact she suffered from a generally weak heart, which I didn't know that. So supposedly she suffered from a weak heart already, if that's what I'm understanding by this article. Says she went into such a state of shock that even if she had survived the crash, her recovery would have been near impossible. Or maybe the shock that she went into weakened her heart. Maybe that's what they're actually meaning. Now, it was later revealed that the pilot, who wasn't qualified to fly the plane, had traces of cocaine and alcohol in his body. It was also discovered that the plane was around 700 pounds overweight, and the weight wasn't distributed properly, making the plane almost impossible to control once airborne. Revealed that the singer was reportedly apprehensive to get on board the flight in the first place. Initial reports from the time suggested that she had been insistent that she needed to be back in Miami later that evening. However, a man who was one of the last people to see her alive said she actually refused to get on board. Aaliyah, a known anxious flyer, reportedly knew the size of her 7-person entourage and all of their luggage would be too much for the small jet to bear. She was reportedly fearful of small planes and had been expecting a much larger aircraft to arrive.
You know what I'm saying? If that's was a sacrifice, he should have took that sacrifice back. If they saying that he had Biggie killed, he had Pac killed, he had this and this and that. So the rumor mill, like after Biggie died, Puffy's still on the top, huh?
Puffy didn't slow down.
Got bigger.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? After Whitney died, Clive Davis still on top.
Yep.
When Aaliyah dies, I was with Barry when Aaliyah died for a wrongful death. He got paid $90 million for her death. Am I supposed to say that on TV? Sue me. I ain't got nothing. I was with him on the negotiations. You know what I'm saying? Black Ground Records, he's married to Gladys Knight.
Wow.
So he had Timberland, Genuine, Missy Elliott, and Aaliyah is his niece. You know?
Oh, wow.
Aaliyah's his niece. So he got a settlement for $90 million for her death.
Was that just for his rights or whatever he owned?
What she would have been able to make if she hadn't have died.
Oh, okay. There was a lot of lawsuits.
I guess.
Okay.
But that was the settlement. I wasn't in. I was there when we went over to the. He got $90 million. He wouldn't stayed at the L'Hermitage Hotel. We ate good. Hotel, we ate good. Hotel, we ate good.
All right, y'all. So I never heard of that guy that was just talking in the clip, right? Just came across that video. I think that interview was done by Cam Capone, which, he gets a chance to interview a lot of people from the industry. And like I said, I never seen that dude before, so I don't know too much about his credibility, but, it sounded pretty good. I tried to find a few more things or, just a little bit more proof that Barry Hankerson actually got $90 million off of a wrongful death settlement from Aaliyah. Now, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it at all, because we know how the dirty industry is, and which is why I slowed the clip down at the end and I, kind of like played it twice, and I slowed it down when he was laughing. How he said, they basically went to some 5-star hotel, restaurant or whatever, and they ate. They ate good. And he was sitting there laughing. And I cut it off before that interview actually ended. And he was like, yeah, we ate good. Ha, 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 ha. In mourning. So it's like he ended that very just, eerie kind of, kind of like just a snake in the grass type of dude. Because what caused you to say, yeah, he got the $90 million. I met him at a restaurant and we ate like kings. That doesn't even make sense. But now what he said in that clip was very well true about, everyone. The entire clip was, he was kind of dropping gems in it and exposing a lot, but it was mostly off topic. It wasn't all about Aaliyah. In the conversation, it just led him to talk about sacrifices, then it led him to Aaliyah. And you know how you had to catch it. You had to catch how he was talking. He was saying, Pac got killed. And, Suge Knight didn't, he didn't really reap the benefits of that. But he was like, Biggie got killed. Diddy's still on top. Then he said, Whitney Houston got killed. Clive Davis still on top. Then he was like, Aaliyah, but he never finished it. He jumped and then said her uncle got the $90 million settlement. So he never went and finished it. He never was like Aaliyah died and Barry Hankerson on top still, He never finished that, but he did expose that he got $90 million. So he basically, really without telling you, told you who or one of the people that were behind Aaliyah being killed. Always kind of go back to what Cat Williams just says. That always somebody benefits. Somebody reaped the benefits. And they set her up to be killed. And he got a $90 million settlement off of what she potentially would have earned in her career. Which I agree is probably accurate, considering she would have been in movies and so on, and would have sold a lot more records. But they got what she would have been worth probably for the next 20 years. They got it right then and there in 2001. 90 mil. That's a lot of money. In 2001, it's a lot of money now, but, y'all get what I'm saying. So right there, we could already see motive. We don't even have to talk about the whole R. Kelly thing. I wasn't going to use this video to get too much into that anyway, because we're talking about the death and sacrifice of Aaliyah. You could throw Dame Dash in there. You could throw Jay-Z in there, because it was kind of like all competing for her at one point. And I don't even really want to touch much on the R. Kelly thing, because, that takes it to what I was talking about in the clip, where she was like, no one can touch me. you know, and I was saying how it related to my other video with Britney Spears, how she was like, you know, she's tired of being touched. So y'all get where I'm going with that. You know, she was what, 13, 14 years old when she married R. Kelly? But that's completely different. You know, that was like 94, 95. It ain't got nothing to do with when she was sacrificed in 2001. This was the news and the kind of like new evidence that I was talking about earlier that I had no idea about. This article on the U.S. Sun just came out in 2022. Now, this could have came out maybe in 2021, but they dropped this article 2022 and says star drugged. Aaliyah plane crash photos revealed as it's claimed she was carried on board unconscious after being given a sleeping pill. Now, think about this. This is 20 years later, y'all. 20 years later, they're coming out with some, you know, supposed new evidence that Aaliyah was drugged before she got on the plane and carried. Think about it. Look at this. It says Aaliyah didn't want to get on the doomed plane that crashed and caused her death, but she was carried on board unconscious after being given a sedative. A book has claimed. This comes from a book. A Bohemian man who had been with the pop star just moments before her death has claimed that was not the case. Says Kingsley Russell, who was 13 years old at the time, had been working for his family's taxi and hospitality business when he was asked to work as a baggage carrier for the singer. The plane was late arriving at the airport by 2 hours. And when Aaliyah saw the size of the plane, she refused to board it. Aaliyah had been filming what would have been her last music video, Rock the Boat. It says the 22-year-old complaining she had a headache, then climbed back into the taxi van and laid down on the back seat for a quick nap. During the exchange, Russell says the singer reiterated that she didn't want to get on a small plane and that she wasn't feeling well. The team member then handed Aaliyah a pill, which she took before falling into a deep sleep. Aaliyah was allegedly still asleep when the pilot finally caved and allowed her and her team to board the flight back to Florida. So basically, they just talked the pilot into flying the plane, even though he knew he was finna go up and crash immediately. They took her out of the van. She didn't even know she was being boarded on a plane. Russell recounts in the book. She went on the airplane asleep. The flight took off at 6:50 p.m., but it had only gotten between 60 and 100 feet in air before nosediving back down to the ground. So what y'all think about that? Do y'all think about, you know, the fact that this was written in a book and maybe Buddy was just trying to, you know, sell a novel? Or do you think he actually came out with some real truth 20 plus years later and said that Aaliyah actually was given a pill that knocked her out so deep that they had to carry her into the plane because she wasn't going to get on the plane willingly if she was conscious? Because someone that was, you know, obviously Aaliyah wasn't dumb. Aaliyah was a very smart young lady, and I highly doubt she would have got on that plane willingly knowing that, you know, it could possibly crash just the way that it did. So it makes you wonder if this part of the story is actually true and this is how they got her on the plane, because it wouldn't have happened without actually drugging her and her being unconscious. Waking up as the plane is about to take off. You know, I'm already on this plane, whatever, I guess it's going to be cool. Boom, she dies a couple minutes later. All in the name of $90 million. So that, you know, I find that to be pretty crazy. I didn't actually know it came from a book. I thought it came from, you know, kind of like a little bit more reliable source. But I guess at the end of the day, you know, it goes with the story, and it really makes sense, because even the original, you know, narrative was that she didn't want to get on the plane. She was nervous. You know, she was already being told it was too much equipment, too much luggage, blah, blah, blah. So it makes sense on how she actually even got on the plane in the first place. Now, there was like a rumor that the reason she got on the plane was because she was getting calls and that she had to go see Dame Dash and this and that. And that was what forced her on the plane without really thinking about it. But those were like, you know, speculation. There's, at the end of the day, we still don't know, you know, what got her on that plane. You know what I'm saying? When she had already voiced that the plane was too small in the first place. All right, y'all. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this video about Aaliyah, who died at the age of 22. Life cut very short in this very demonic industry. And, you know, at the end of the day, it sacrifices people's lives, just as, you know, they said in the clip before. And that was one thing Jaguar Wright was about. She was right about. They have the power to manipulate your reality, manipulate everything that you see, just like that, just off the snap of a finger, or controlling some kind of news press. They control the narrative. And she said people that are working daily in order to keep you in the dark, keep you, you know, not knowing what's really going on, you know, keep, you know, just basically keep that like facade, you know what I'm saying, making you think one thing is happening when really it's something a lot more sinister. That goes right with Ephesians 6:12. You know, because we are up against principalities and evil in higher places. A lot of the times, this stuff is things that we can't see, which is why we don't know what's going on around us. Because it's being worked through spirits, through magic, through rituals. And at the end of the day, these are sometimes the results. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that video, man. Y'all already know what's going on. I enjoyed doing that video. We got more work on the way. As always, y'all let me know what y'all want to see in the near future. It's Black Balloon, and I'm going to see y'all soon. I'm out.